remember to look at the green dot. It's always so awkward in the beginning.
Hi everyone, welcome back.
Welcome back.
We're gonna talk about what it's like being a pilot and a flight attendant.
Flight crew, what is your life like? So Allie's been a flight attendant for about a year, and I have been an airline pilot for about 2.5 years. And we're just gonna explain kind of our lifestyle, in my lifestyle, her lifestyle, and then our obviously as like kind of a dating relationship, how that also works. So we're just gonna talk about lifestyle as a pilot and a flight attendant.
This has actually been my dream job for several years now, probably since I was 12 years old. I flew to Orlando for dance and I realized that I really loved flying, and that's whenever I decided I wanted to be a flight attendant. And ever since then, in all my school papers, our ring ceremony, junior year, everything was like, what do you want to be when you're older? And I always said a flight attendant.
So she's been wanting to do this forever. I didn't have that same desire my whole life. I always thought being a pilot would be super awesome, super cool. Every time I would be on an airplane as a kid, I would look in the cockpit as I was passing and just think it was probably the coolest thing I ever saw in my entire life. But I never really thought of it as something that I could do until I was like 18, 17, and then I decided I want to do it, and I just went for it. And it is probably the best job in the entire world. We're gonna start off, before we talk about lifestyle, just listing a couple of our favorite things and least favorite things about the job, just to get a more well-rounded perspective. So, okay, you can start. Number one, first, pro. Pros.
Traveling, 100%. You get to see a lot of places. Even as regionals, we're regional flight attendant pilots, you can still see a lot of cool places. What?
No, I'm just listening.
Flight benefits, number two. Flight benefits, they're great. They are amazing.
Yeah, flight benefits are probably the second best part, or one of the best parts. It allows you to literally go anywhere for basically free.
Yep.
How flight benefits work, it's so simple.
Twice.
I noticed it that time. It's okay. Benefits are, you just have the ability, oh my gosh. So some of the best parts about flight benefits are the ability to just leave and go anywhere you want at any time. I could tomorrow just go to London and pay, I think, just like tax, right? On international flights. Yeah, coming in on international flights. I could
go in there, it's free.
I could go to Missoula. She could tomorrow go to New York or San Diego. Like anywhere you want to go, you can just go basically for free. So flight benefits are for sure one of the best benefits. Travel for work is awesome.
If you love meeting people, this job is for you. You meet a lot of people.
Especially being a flight attendant, I would say. That's more on the flight attendant side. You meet a ton of people, interact with a ton of people. We don't as much as pilots. But you do interact with tons of crews, which is cool. You get some really good crews. You get some, meh crews. So that's one of the, I think that's a pro and a con. You might end up with a crew that you really like, and you work with them for 4 days. And you might end up with a crew you really don't like, and then you have to work with them for 4 days. So that's kind of a pro and a con.
Being away a lot.
Yeah, you're away from your house a lot, away from your family, your friends, whatever. And that's just part of the job. You have to be okay with that from the get-go, otherwise it's not gonna work out.
Like, I went home for Christmas, and then I wasn't home for about half a month. And then I finally went back for like 2 days the other day. But then that's also because he lives in Dallas, and my family is not in Dallas.
Yeah.
So I come see him a lot whenever I'm here, and that's why I'm in Dallas more than I go home.
Yeah, so if we want to spend time together, she'd obviously be here. One of the main questions we get asked on TikTok is, how does it work, being a flight attendant and a pilot and dating? And for some reason, a lot of people think it's difficult or weird or hard. What's your thoughts on it?
I think that it's not difficult.
It's difficult if you make it difficult, yes. But that's like, I think in general with anyone.
Mm-hmm. Like, we've had opposite schedules, like completely opposite schedules, and we've had the same schedules. We say the same schedules. It's like the same days on and the same days off. Yeah. We don't work for the same company, so we could never be on the same flight. We get that question a lot too.
How it's gonna work.
Unless we're passengers on them.
Exactly. Or just like riding for fun. But yeah, we've had both schedules. We've had it where we bid, so we are kind of off on the same day so we can do stuff. Like have more time to do things together. And then we've also had it where we have completely opposite schedules, where my off days she's working, her off days I'm working, and that has its own pros and its own cons too. So I think that it's nice because you have the ability to kind of see what works and what doesn't work for you, right? And bid accordingly, right? So whatever you kind of want. Or for example, if you wanted to do something like there was like 3 days you wanted for sure off together, but it was like, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Most jobs you couldn't do that. 9 to 5 on Monday through Friday. You couldn't just take 3 days off in the
Just
middle
like
of the
next
week.
month, we have 4 days off together.
Yeah, it just so happened that our schedules lined up that we have multiple days off at the end of the month together. So it's like, that's a
But
cool
then
thing.
the beginning of the month, we only have like 2
We'll just never
days.
see each other at the end of the month. Yeah. So, yes, as far as schedules go, it's kind of a little bit of a challenge, but there is some flexibility with it. So it's kind of like hard and also pretty awesome at the same time. It's really hard to explain. But as far as just like having a relationship and then both being on this schedule, I think just good communication is key. You just have to prioritize.
And neither of us have a set schedule. We have the days we work and the days we're off.
We're both on reserve.
We're both on reserve. So we're just on call and they call us to go work. So sometimes he could be off and I could be working, but then I get released, so then I have the night.
And
in
we can
Dallas.
just like have a date night or something.
Yes.
So like the other night we went to Reunion Tower because we just so happened to work out that way. So that is, I would say, kind of how it is. It's honestly, in my opinion, pretty cool. And I think it's almost easier to both be flight crew than have one person flight crew and one person not flight crew.
Because we understand each
Because
other.
we understand the schedule, and it's not like confusing or frustrating when it doesn't work out because we just know how this works. And it's completely 50-50. Sometimes she gets completely destroyed on her schedule. Sometimes I get completely destroyed on my schedule. And it's not like stress inducing because we understand how it works. And we've been doing this long enough too where we know how to make it work. Like we've been doing this for a while now, and there hasn't been a single month that's gone by where we haven't, made it work and seen each other a good amount. So I think it's actually pretty easy.
Me too.
Some people might disagree. That's just a little tidbit into that side of things. But as far as just the job in general, if you want to be a pilot, if you want to be a flight attendant, obviously there's different things that go into those different jobs. But if you want to just be flight crew in general, I would say just obviously do your research. It's a fantastic field if you have a passion for it. I think it's one of those fields that if you do not have a passion for it, it might be one of the worst jobs you could possibly have, both ways. But if you have a passion for it, you love travel.
I always say that you have to love the job to be okay with how they do things.
Yes. Yeah. And I think more so even on the flight attendant side. Would you agree? Because it's a very different job. Pilots and flight attendants, they get grouped in as flight crew, but they are completely different jobs, completely different careers. And again, you just have to love what you do. So if you love it and that's something you want to do, then you're going to have a great time doing it. Regardless of some of the ups and downs of it. So yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was insightful. Hopefully this was entertaining. I don't know if entertaining is the right word.
Some information.
You didn't know. People comment about that all the time that I copy what you say. I don't mean to copy what you say. Do I copy what you say?
All the time.
All the time. All right. Until next time.
Bye, guys.
I'll end it right there.